probably heard of role models before. You've probably heard that term. A role model is someone you look up to, someone you feel some kind of connection or kinship with, an example of a life that you want to lead, or at least an example of the kind of life that you're interested in leading. What I don't hear people talk about enough, and what I think is equally valuable, is looking to what I call anti-role models. In other words, people you feel some sort of a kinship with, whose lives you definitely do not want to emulate. In today's video, I'm going to go a little deeper into this idea and share some of my thoughts about anti-role models. My name is Zachary Stockill, and since 2013, I've been working with men and women from all over the world, helping them overcome retroactive jealousy and save their relationships. If you'd like more information about my work or you'd like to work with me one-on-one, please visit my website at retroactivejealousy.com. Some people refer to anti-role models as the shadow or counterexamples or something like that, but I like the term anti-role model. In my life, I've met a few men in particular, and I had many things in common with these guys. Maybe I had similar interests, I had similar passions, I had similar demons, but I'd encounter these men, or I'd even read about these men. Sometimes it wasn't someone I knew personally, I'd just hear stories about their life. And I'd feel a certain connection there. Like, we're similar kinds of people. We're vulnerable to the same whims and desires. We want a lot of the same things. I feel some kind of connection to them. And sometimes I've found that their lives go off in really tragic and unfortunate directions because they let these demons get the best of them. They start making bad choices. They don't live up to their own ideals. And they fall victim to many of the same pitfalls that in some alternative universe or galaxy or whatever, if I think about it, I could see myself falling victim to those same pitfalls. I could see myself battling those same demons. I can see myself making those same wrong choices. To give you some practical examples, I'm not going to give you any names, but I'll give you some practical examples of what I'm talking about. As I've mentioned on this channel several times, for my entire life, to some extent, I've struggled with my weight. I put on weight very easily. I love food. I love wine. I love a lot of the finer things in life. And unfortunately, when you're a guy like me, when you have a metabolism like me, it's very easy to put on weight. I mean, I look at a cheesecake and I gain 5 pounds. That's kind of one of the things I've had to struggle with in my life. And there's a version of me, I know, somewhere in some alternative universe that decides to say, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to eat that entire cheesecake. I'm going to drink 8 bottles of wine. I'm just going to go nuts at, a burrito stand or whatever. Completely lacking any kind of discipline when it comes to what they eat. Alternative universe Zach is out there somewhere 300 pounds. And the reason I know that is because, again, I've met some of my anti-role models. I've met guys who feel the same way that I do about enjoying food and enjoying wine, and they're built the same way that I'm built. They have a similar metabolism. They're around the same size as me. They're roughly as physically active as I usually am. So I've seen up close and personal through some acquaintances that I've met, through some people I've just heard about, through some friendships that I've had. I've seen what can happen if I let my worst impulses take over. I've met some of my anti-role models, and these people have served as a bit of an anti-inspiration for me. In other words, I've looked at these men who I share this similar relationship with food with. I look at the way their lives are turning out. I look at their weight. I look at the way they look, and I say, I don't want that. I don't want that to be me. And I know that it could be me if I make bad choices. I'll give you another example, another very personal example. I've been thinking a lot about commitment recently for various reasons relating to my personal life, relating to my business life, relating to my creative life. I've been thinking a lot about the whole idea of commitment, my relationship with that word, my relationship with that concept in many areas of life. And over the years, I seem to have cultivated several acquaintances, we'll call them, who really fear commitment. And again, I have a lot in common with these men in terms of different interests and our personalities and all the rest. And I've seen the way their fear of commitment in any area of life makes them miserable in ways they don't necessarily understand. So again, another very specific example, a friend of mine who's very restless in his life. And I think part of his restlessness could be attributed to the fact that he lacks commitment in just about every area of his life. So in a certain sense, he is one of my anti-role models. I feel a kinship with this person. We have a lot in common. But I look at their life and I think, you know what? If I made certain choices, my life could turn out that way. I could fall down some of the same rabbit holes. I could end up on the same path, and I don't want that. So this can be a very fruitful mental exercise. You can try this later. You can journal. You can get clear on this. Who are your anti-role models? And they don't have to be people you know. They can be a certain celebrity or even a historical figure who you feel some kind of a kinship with. Who are your anti-role models? How are you potentially vulnerable to the same demons? And what could happen to your life if you made similar choices? It's important to have role models in life, I believe. It's important to have a North Star. It's important to have some direction in terms of what you're aiming at, but it's equally important to realize what you're running away from. What could happen if you make bad choices, if you give in to some of your weaker impulses? Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, please take a moment to let me know by clicking the like button below. I'll also ask you to please leave a comment telling me what you think. And while you're at it, please be sure you are subscribed to my channel to be notified of new videos moving forward. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you again soon.